Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to another episode, but yet again, the first episode of the Divorce Mindset Live. I am so happy that we are connected once again. I'm your host, Camilla Calberg. I'm the founder of Calberg Coaching, and I'm a transformational coach. This episode is brought to you by Calberg Coaching, where we help executives create a better life before, during, and after divorce. And it is true, happiness is real, and the tunnel doesn't have to be that long if you know how to go through your divorce or how to navigate in your divorce project. All right, with no further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Let me just get the mic right. So, I am so happy to talk about performance this week. And the reason why I do it is that your mindset affects your performance. We may know that, we may not know that. That may be very a subconscious awareness. I learned it the hard way. And I'm going to share with you what I learned and how I got out of that black hole. And I hope to inspire a lot of you to become more aware of where you are right now. All right, so let's dive into this. When my daughter was 1 year old, I suffered in my relationship. And I suffered so much that when I left in the morning, the days when my partner was supposed to pick her up, or did drop her off to nursery, I left very early to be able to pick up very early. But what I did was, the moment I left the house, I cried. I cried, and I left that early so I could pop in at my parents' house. They were just, they lived, and they still live, but 2 minutes from where I worked at that point in time. And I sat there in the kitchen area and I cried out loud how miserable I felt, how lonely I felt, how terrible it really was to be in this relationship. And you can just imagine the emotional state I was in. Does that set you up for success when you go to work? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I tried to keep my performance. Yeah, I talked about a lot about you shine outside a lot to the outer world, but your inner world is actually very chaotic. My inner world was indeed chaotic. It was it was falling apart. My identity was falling apart. I had, like, suddenly I was a mum with a 1 year old baby or toddler, and navigating my career, and I did not feel at peace at all. And you can just imagine when I came to work and I had to shine like this change manager, and everything was fine, and dealing with big projects, and it was tough. And on top of that, I was in a project where the project manager was sitting on the side, and then we as a project team had to navigate the space of team building. That doesn't really work well. But here's what's really interesting, and that's I learned it the hard way. Nobody asked me at one point in time how I was doing. Actually, I wrote an article about this. The most beautiful question you can ask a person you can see suffer is, how are you? How are you? This personal touch, and really allow yourself to breathe and slow down. Nobody asked me that question. Some of the colleagues I really trusted knew what was going on. I was crying in the work. I was calling various like governmental officers to find out, how do I escape? How do I do this? But here's that, really I learned it the hard way. Get on, work with a manager who you trust. I didn't trust my manager, so I kept up appearance. Nobody knew that I was even that I planned, and I said that I was supposed to leave. I planned and decided to leave my boyfriend. Nobody knew that. Nobody cared about the people in the organization. Like really cared. At least that's nobody cared about me as from the senior level. And I learned it the hard way that that was not the culture I thrive in. And my way out of this black hole was surprisingly enough that this company, at least my line manager, they only looked at performance and not at the human being. And so they told me that, Camilla, you have to accept the culture, and you have to accept that sometimes project managers can be very different. And go learn. So I got 10 sessions with a psychologist to top my personal growth. And I was just sitting, hey, come on, this is not what it's all about. Do I have to adjust to someone in order to perform? I come from big companies. I managed before, and suddenly there's something deeper here that is not working. But here's what the beauty was all about. Here's what the beauty is all about. I sat with this psychologist. And for a while, we talked about, okay, how to take back control and how do you want this to be, da-di-da-di-da. And then the question was dropped. How are you? How are you doing at home? And there, for the first time, I could share how scared I was at home, how I feared my boyfriend. It's very tough for me right now. How my daughter, she's just turned 1, how she was afraid of her dad. It was really, it's tough now. Really, really difficult moment. And there I realized that I had to take back control. And I had to do something that served me. And that was to move out of that relationship, get out of that relationship very, very fast. I also realized that, and I knew that while I was for long before actually I came to that point that the company was not the right fit for me. I knew that my performance was challenged because my mind was focusing on surviving at home. And so the challenging project manager, I was not in a state to challenge him back with love. I've been in those very challenging setups of clients assignments before, not a global, a European basis. Of course, I could do this shit, but you can't perform if your mind, if you're struggling, if your mind is struggling, if you are struggling, if you're underwater emotionally, mentally, physically, psychologically, you just can't perform. And I see it again and then in other client cases. Doesn't matter where you are in the organization. If you do not have inner peace, your performance will be disrupted somehow, one way or the other. So my way out was actually to work with a psychologist and say, what do I do in order to save myself, to get a better life? That is so important. And the one thing I did, and I learned a lot of what I share when I go on live and how I help my clients create a better life, is to share what I learned the hard way and what you shouldn't do the hard way. What I did the hard way is to accept. I didn't accept, but I tolerated my state of being. And I knew, like, every day I went to my parents' home and cried before going to work. I said, I can't be in this relationship. I can't be in this relationship. If this is what you tell yourself, leave now, because it affects you. It affects your well-being, your emotional, physical, mental state of mind. Leave. Make a change, right? Don't accept or don't tolerate what is. And that I learned the hard way. And I would say there are so many HR departments that are not ready for this, and we don't train our senior leaders to ask about the personal questions. How are you doing? It's all about performance. It's all about metrics. I've been there myself for so long. But what we forget is that that's human being behind the numbers. And you can't perform. You just can't perform. And that's why you get to reach out for help. If you are in a state where your situation is just challenges you, wherever you are on your divorce journey. It can be that you're stuck in an unhealthy relationship, a relationship that doesn't serve you. Most likely or subconsciously, your performance is challenged by that because you're not in inner balance. Of course you're not. Now how can the yin perform at work? At least, well, you do, but you can probably do even better when you are in inner peace, when you tapped into inner peace. If you're going through a bad divorce, that requires a lot of energy. And here's again, what can you do differently in order to safeguard your career? Maybe you check out. Maybe you just realize that for a while you have to outsource some of your home duties, whatever that is, in order to mentally be ready to go to work and leave and be able to tame your thoughts and so that you set yourself up for success. And if you are in the co-parenting state of the divorce, your new normal, and it doesn't work, it's still high conflict, there's another opportunity here for you to find you tame your thoughts, tame your feelings so that you can perform. And that's why it's so important to work with those people, whoever they are, who you trust, and who can nudge you with love in the right direction so that the career that you build up, what you master, you will continue to master and you will continue to get that energy when you are in your role. But you say that, but I hope you get what I mean. When you step into the office and you're gonna have this workshop, or you're gonna contribute to the strategy, whatever, right? It's about being in flow and tap into that energy that you just feel that wow, this is amazing. And so park the thoughts that disrupts your mind, and that requires rehearsal. I know that, I've been there myself, but it's so important to be aware that if you don't tame your thoughts, if you think of those or tell yourself those stories that drains you from energy, that makes you unhappy, depressed, anxious, your performance will be disrupted. That's how it is. I learned it the hard way. There are easier ways to go about that, and that one way is to work with someone who you trust and who can nudge you and who has the right tools and strategy that will help you tap into your zone of genius when you're at work. Can also be that, okay, right now, and that's what I didn't do. I didn't ask for a sabbatical because my mom said, "Oh, you just play." I have never been in such a situation. My parents had neither been in such a situation. So they helped me the best they could. And I was so suffering because everything that I did was not in alignment of who I was. How I was treated at work was not in alignment of what I wanted to, what I needed the most. And so it was like, don't don't stress yourself so much that it's just gonna be like uphill, uphill, uphill all the time, right? It's gonna be fun, and you get the opportunity to just pull out. And I was lucky to get to be sent on gardening leave. I knew what was coming, and that gave me that room to find peace of mind. And within a couple of months, I set up my first company. And that was just the way out from a company that I didn't enjoy working for, or the culture in that department, to something that I've really, really, truly enjoyed. And even though I still navigated in chaos, so much chaos, I found inner peace. And I just, what do you say? I just took off like the airplane. I enjoyed it. So, with this, remember that your suffering mind disrupts, affects your performance, and it shouldn't be. So, here's act now so your career You don't put your career at stake when you're going through your divorce, or you have divorced but you haven't healed. And so let's wrap up this today's session. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope this inspires you to do whatever you need to do in order to safeguard yourself, to protect yourself, so you don't end in the black hole. And if you suffer right now, you know what to do. Ask for help in order to safeguard your amazing career. If you found value in what I've shared today, please take a moment to drop me a comment. I love all your comments, so I can support you even further, as well as take a screenshot and share this episode on your favorite social platform to help your friends and your loved ones thrive through any major life transition like divorce is. And remember, happiness is real. And wherever you are on your divorce journey, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And the next chapter of your life can truly be your best one yet. And if I can do it, you can too. And it is my honor from the deepest space part of my heart to be on your journey with you and help you, support you through the process. And this wraps up today's episode. Remember to tune in daily for inspiration and practical advice so that you can create a better and more abundant life before, during, and after divorce. Let's meet again tomorrow. So again, Divorce Mindset Live is live 9:30 CEST on your social platform. Enjoy the Monday. Bye for now.